Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Sabah al khair, Masa al khair. It all depends on the time you're watching this. Ahlan wa salam. My name is Adiba and welcome to today's episode. I will be talking about happiness in relation to our contemporary time. I have chosen happiness as a topic to talk about because I am interested in mental wellness. I have been through depression in and out, and I've been able to relate to tell the things that are causing my depression, and I can relate it to the natural world because the natural world is responsible for my depression, and I know that there are many people that are on the same track. Happiness, to me, it differs from person to person. It all depends on what you translate as happiness to you, what an individual see to be happiness to themselves. Is happiness what an individual derives peace of mind, sense of belonging from, is what I relate as happiness. And this differs from person to person. This is the reason why I do not judge people by the way they live. I do not judge people by what they engage themselves in doing the most. Rather, it actually helps and guide me to understanding their mental state. Because what you derive happiness from does say a lot about your personality. It does say a lot about your current state of mental health as at that time that you're deriving happiness from it. This is the reason why I do not judge people by whatever they have chosen to obtain happiness from. But we have two types of happiness. We have the temporal type of happiness and we have the permanent type of happiness. The temporal type of happiness will leave you with two things. It's either gratitude or depression. While the permanent happiness will always leave you with gratitude. Temporal happiness that leaves you with gratitude are those things that when you engage yourself in or when you derive happiness from them, as of that period, they are halal for you. So deep down in your mind, you are convinced that this happiness is not going to last. It is just temporal. So I am going to do my best to enjoy it while it lasts. These are the kind of happiness that leaves you with gratitude. While the kind of happiness that leaves you with depression are those ones you engage in that are not halal for you. You know deep down that this is not the best thing for you to do. You know deep down that this is not what you actually need to be permanently happy, but you still choose to engage yourself in it. Definitely, when it leaves you, it's going to leave you with depression. Example of happiness that leaves you with gratitude. Just few examples because there are a million things people do that gives them joy. Example of it, we can say charity. When you extend that act of kindness towards another person, at that moment you feel happy, you feel fulfilled, and you are able to lift somebody's spirit up. Another example is friendship with your direct family, your immediate family. You know that you are not going to spend the rest of your life under the same roof with your siblings, with your parents. So you make every day count with them. You understand? The other example is relationship, friendship with the people in your community. The way you relate with people, like engaging in playing of games with them, making sure that every moment you spend with them counts. When your heart feels that it's when your heart desire to explore, you meet these people and you explore together. These are example of happiness that will leave you with gratitude, because in the long run, when you look back, you just be grateful. Example of happiness that will leave you with depression is when you derive happiness from things that are obviously haram. Number one, when you have to hang out with friends to smoke and to take cigarettes to party around, this is an example of happiness that leaves you with depression at the end of it. Another example of it is when you engage on irrelevant competition. Irrelevant competition at the end of it will draw you into nothing but depression. You will never be grateful for it. So it is good for you to find inside of you what your heart desires the most, what you want to do, and do not just engage in competition with people. We are done with temporal happiness. Let's talk about the permanent ones. The permanent kind of happiness are those things that you do that you will be grateful for dunya wa akhirah. Permanent happiness, immediately you do it, and after you do it, you will be grateful. You have this inner peace. You feel fulfilled. You feel relieved. It will be as if a burden has been removed from you. We are all humans and we deserve to be happy. So when you engage in things that are righteous to make yourself happy, of course, it will leave you with fulfillment and gratitude and not depression. Permanent happiness is something you're going to enjoy fi dunya wal akhirah. I observed that there are a lot of people who cannot differentiate between temporal and permanent happiness. And this has drawn a lot of us into a state of awe. Before I continue, let's make a reference to something. Before the era of technology, let's ask ourselves, the people before our time, the people before 21st century, how do they derive happiness? Our parents are part of those people. How do they make themselves happy? What are those activities they engage themselves in that actually makes them happy when there was no technology? There are billions of things those people do, but I'm going to list at least 3. One is group fun, upholding of cultural heritage in group. You see that before now, they organize a cultural practices whereby they sit, they dance to entertain themselves, they engage themselves in playing of games, they do reduce and jokes, all of those things. They do it and they make themselves happy. Working together in group, like for instance, going to farm. I'm sorry, ignore the background sound, the children. For instance, going to farming together, and secondly, going to school together. People before our time, when they want to go to school or they want to go and acquire knowledge, they go in groups. They share knowledge. They are playing. They are honest with each other. They achieve greater things together. But let me tell you what technology has done. Technology is actually supposed to be a relief. It's supposed to make a lot of things easier for us. But technology has taken away our happiness and replaced it with depression. But that is for those who want technology to make them unhappy. So this is an eye-opener for everyone. Number 1, I mentioned that before now, people used to engage themselves in what? Upholding of goodness, greatness, and cultural heritage. How has technology taken that away? Now, technology has provided us with internet, handset, tablets. So everybody is engaged in what? In trying to search for happiness from the internet. So when they feel that something is missing, that they want to fill a space, a hole in their heart, they pick up their phone. Nobody can think of anything. They can't think about anything as at that particular moment except picking up their phone and going to Facebook, TikTok, and whatsoever. I am not saying that accessing those internets are bad, because there are a lot of goodness that is also attached to them. So it depends on what you want to achieve from it. But from the greater view, in a world we find ourselves where the promotion of bad things, nudity, promiscuity, drugs, and all of that is being promoted through the internet, is being welcomed. When you log onto social media, when you try to derive happiness from this source, you will end up with regret and depression, because these people will always make you to feel as if being righteous is a crime. These people will make you to feel as if being honest is a crime. These people will make you to feel that upholding certain natural values is a crime. Example of it is modesty. If you are constant on social media, you see that those who are modest are being constantly dragged. Unlike before, I remember a few years back that I ventured into the use of social medias. When you come online and you post an irrelevant picture, you will see a lot of groups on social media that will drag you. You'll be so ashamed of yourself. Now, the opposite is the case. Those who are modestly dressed are being tagged masquerade. They are even being tagged prostitutes who are covering under veils. It has gotten that bad. So those who are naked, displaying their navels and half of their boobs, are now the one trending. So finding yourself in a community like that and you want to find happiness from that place, definitely what you'll find is depression and misguidance. Another example is the use of TikTok to attend to trends. Sincerely, I am not passing judgment on anybody. I only want you to pick something from this. I want you to sit yourself down and ask yourself a question. Are you really happy with all that you've been engaging on? I know most of us as human, we all have our needs. The need for self-respect, the need for shelter, the need for love and all of that. The need for recognition, I understand. But the means through which you derive those things actually have an adverse effect on you. It tells if it's going to leave you with gratitude or depression. TikTok, like I earlier mentioned, TikTok is a place that you can find happiness from. You can attract depression from TikTok. Let me tell you how. You know, sometimes whenever when I come on TikTok and immediately I log in, the first thing I see is people like whining their weight and all of that to a trend. Even some Muslim sisters, and they will say that they are doing hijab trend. Hijab trend where you are obviously on fitted outfit that reveals all your shape, and you are just on something that covers only your hair. I'm not going to blame you. Trust me, I'm not passing judgment, because you see, when it comes to knowledge, it is a gradual process. It involves evolvement. As long as you are ready, you evolve. So I don't like to pass judgment. What I'm trying to say is that TikTok has done more harm than good. They are going to take down this video if they watch this. TikTok has done more harm than good. I have been in that space and I know what's up, what's going on there. So this has replaced the natural happiness we used to have. Another example of what technology has taken away from us is group work, commitment to group work, achieving things together. And I mentioned that before now, our parents used to sit down and do things together. Now everybody is on their own, because I'm thinking differently, you're thinking differently. The life has set a necessary competition for us. You're trying to be better than I am trying to be better than you are, so we lack appreciation. And before this time, people used to work together. For instance, when students are going to school, you see them working in group from the community to their schools and working back home together. Now, bike, motorcycle, everything has taken over. We are supposed to be grateful, but this has actually taken a lot of happiness from us. These natural things that we live with, that we are forever grateful for, it's not longer there. It actually has replaced it with depression, because when you're walking down the street, you're being making mockery of like this. Can't even afford paying for bike to school. Is actually a good thing. But it has taken something from us, good health, because that was actually a form of exercise, and that has been taken away. Good things you can do to actually find happiness. Before now, when a younger person sees an older person coming or walking down the road with loads, they rush to help. But now it's nothing like that anymore, because possibly the older person is carrying firewood and you are well dressed with heavy makeup. You wouldn't want your body to be stained. You have just missed out on a greater happiness, because helping that woman, you would have earned respect and prayer, and at the end of it, those prayers actually work. They go with you everywhere you go. An act of kindness, that you speak good words to people, it has been replaced with vulgar words. These days, all we do is to speak ill of each other, especially with the use of internet. They call it violence. Immediately you come online, all you see is that you saw people engaging in dragging of an innocent person. I will use the word innocent because I've never seen any religion that promotes violence. I've never seen any religion that promotes condemnation without listening to the other person's part of the story. You just see that somebody is being dragged on social media and you join the trend. You just want to join the trend, and the next thing everybody will pick up their phone. If you know what is happening right now, hey, I'm enjoying this. It's so bad. At that particular moment, you are deriving happiness from bringing another person down. But what will follow it up will be depression. It's not a curse. You'll be depressed, but the problem is you will never know the causes of your depression. You will never realize that this is what is causing your depression until you calm down and you think of many irrelevant things you are engaging yourself in that is not needed, that your spirit, your soul, your body do not need. About you visiting that older person in your community. Just one old person, at least once in a week or even once in a month. and you tell them to bring their clothes because you know that they have no children, or possibly they have children but their children are not helping. Just pick up their clothes, wash, sun dry it for them. Subhanallah. That's number one. I'm giving you tricks that is going to give you the happiness you desire. Trust me, if you have been suffering from long-time depression, if you have been in a state whereby no matter what you do, you don't feel fulfilled, just venture into this thing that I'm telling you. Pick up their clothes and wash. They'll be surprised because it's something that is rare. It's something that is normal in African culture, but it's no longer in existence. Rebet it. Bring it back. Let those people, these children who are growing up, let them watch you do it. If you want to uphold something, it should start and begin with you. That is number one. How about you working, raising money to take care of yourself? That is a greater happiness. Halal earning. Not you thinking that you are too beautiful, you're too handsome to engage in certain kind of work. As long as you know that this money that I have earned today, I did not steal, I didn't backbite, I didn't betray anybody to get this. I worked hard in a halal way to get it. Happiness will come with it. And from this money, you do greater things like taking care of yourself, taking care of your family, and assisting the needy. That is happiness. Trust me. You feel this sense of belonging, this sense of responsibility. You can actually raise the same money as well. Visit a school, a primary school or secondary school or university close by to you. It all depends on the one you can afford. Trust me, you can make a great change with just your 2,000 naira. Most of the communities in our village are paying nothing more than 2,000 naira as school fees per term. And there are people in that school, there are students in that school whose parents can still not afford such money. Then that 2,000 naira you are wasting on shisha, alcohol, taking rubbish things that will consume and quickly send you to your grave. Why don't you take it there? Ask the principal, please, I want to pay school fees of 1 term or 2 term for any student who has not paid school fees, for any student who has been receiving beating because the parents cannot afford it. You might be looking at it that because you are earning 2,000 naira, it's so easy for everybody. It is not. Then you visit that school and pay for one person. Subhanallah. You are promoting education. You have been able from your own part. You're not a politician and you have no social recognition, but you have engaged in social responsibility by promoting education and by supporting this education through your own little way. If you don't learn to give from the little you have, when Allah give you in multitude, you will fold your hands. Another thing you can do that can grant you happiness. How about buying foodstuffs and helping these old-aged people? How about going to their homes, help them to wash their floor, arrange everywhere, buy perfume spray, let them smell nice? If you are a fashion designer and you are living in a community where a particular old woman or old man keeps wearing the same clothes, there are Ankara of at least 1,500 naira in the market. Why don't you buy? Go meet that old person, take their measurements because you are a fashion designer and you're about giving back to your community. That's what we're talking about. Take their measurements, sew it, and go gift it to them, most especially during festive period. You know that period, these people, they have nothing to rely on. They have already given up that, I'm going to wear my rag as usual, and you just surprise them with it. MashaAllah, what about that? Instead of wasting that money, hanging around with friends who will betray, backbite, and kill you if they have the chance, as long as it will bring them something. Buying of shoes, buying of books, because this period things are so hard. You can buy books because some parents cannot buy for their children. Buy them, package it, go and give it to one person. If there is somebody wandering about in your community doing absolutely nothing and you know that it's not going to be good for the future of this person, take them, counsel them, enroll them in Islamia. Tell them what is Islam, because they are Muslims and they're just living by the name Islam. They know nothing about their religion. Be their teacher, and you know what it means to be a teacher? You have to live by example. Be their teacher, enroll them in Islamia, tell them to go to school, promote them by enrolling them in handwork. See, in our local community, to enroll for handwork, pata 5,000 for a start. If it is a greater work, 10,000 for a start. You can look for people of your kind. If you cannot afford such money, tell them that, see, there's this person I want to help out to enroll. This boy said he wants to become a mechanic, but they are telling me that they want to collect 20,000 naira. I've been able to raise 5,000. Please make una join hands with me. Let's do this together for the sake of Allah. Enroll that child. You have taken that child from the street, and that child will never forget. In your old age, you will be grateful for it. In your grave, you'll be grateful for it. On the day of Qiyam, you'll be grateful for it. These are the things that will leave you with permanent happiness. We have more of this. I am an advocate of mental wellness. I am an advocate for good lifestyle. If you want to join my group and learn more about how to attain happiness by pleasing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, click on the link. And if you ever have any question that you want to ask me about lifestyle, education, marriage, anything, call on to me. I am not an island of knowledge, but I learn a lot. And I have people who are better than I am. So when you come to me and I cannot prefer solution, I call on to them as well. Together, we can make the world a better place. Thank you for watching this. I hope that you will benefit greatly from this. And don't forget to share so that others can benefit. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.